All right, last homework problem for this week. We're talking about measuring angles. So we have a protractor already given. Now we have a couple different rays happening. Remember, a ray has a starting point or an end point, and it continues on and on forever. So it's like a line, because a line goes on and on forever, but both ways. So it's kind of like a line segment and a line together is what a ray would be. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different rays, all starting at that vertex, that O. So we need to see which one we're going to look at for our problem. So let's read it. It says, find the sum of the measure of ROS and the measure of TOS to the nearest degree. So this one's going to be a little bit more challenging than the second one, so let's go ahead and look and see how we're going to do that. But the first part of what we're going to do to find out ROS will help you with number 6 when you do that on your own. So I'm going to highlight. Find the sum, that means we're adding, the measure of ROS and the measure of angle TOS. So ROS and TOS. Now you could highlight ROS and then highlight TOS, but if you think about it, that's just going to give you, I think, ROS and then TOS. That adds together just to be ROT. So when we look at that, there's a couple things we're going to do. This one, again, is a little bit more challenging than the one next to this, but we're going to have a similar process. So let's see what we can do. So if you look at this, the degrees either start at 0 or 180. And the reason why, if you start over here and you're moving from left to right, then you're going to use those top numbers. However, if your angle's starting on the right-hand side and going right to left, well, as I'm increasing, that my bottom numbers are increasing. That's why your protractor has 2 different sets of numbers, because it depends on if you're starting on the left or the right. So if we look at this, here's 0 degrees and 180 degrees. Now, as you can see, ROS was my first part, and ROT, well, angle ROS plus angle TOS, or SOT, is going to equal, as we can see in the picture, angle ROT. So really the question is just asking you, what's the angle measure for ROT? So here's what we're going to look at. If you start from 0 all the way to where this angle is, so it looks like that, you can use that top number, and it's a little bit past 60. So I'm going to put a T for 61. So I can use my top number. Now some people might say, well, I actually saw the angle measurement going from right to left, and that's okay too. So notice over here, my 0 doesn't start on the top, my 0 starts on the bottom. So if I go from 0 all the way to where this ray ends, my bottom number would be 119. Let me write this over here so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so this is just for the top number and the bottom number, because some people like to work with the top numbers better, some people like to work with the bottom numbers. So if we look over here at where this ray is ending, well, my top number is 180, and it's going right about here. Well, it's in between 150 and 160. It's 155. I would say that's about 156. So my top number is 156. Now, if we went, so that was if we were going from the left to the right. That's when we use my top numbers. Now, if I looked at the angle this way and was going from the right to the left, well, that's 10 degrees, that's 20 degrees, so 21, 22, 23, 24 degrees. So again, it depends on if you like to do your angles from left to right or from right to left. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways, but we should get the same exact answer. Again, we just want to make sure you're using the strategy. that works best for you. So let's look at the top numbers. If I have the top numbers, I have the difference. I'm looking for all this total distance, so my brain is just thinking about this. It's not all of the 180 degrees, it's just that highlighted portion. So I have the top number 61 and the top number 156. I'm going to subtract those and see how many individual degrees are in between that. So I don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I counted all the way each little mark, that would take a really long time. So I'm finding the distance between those, the difference between those numbers. So my top number is 156. I'm going to subtract it from my other top number of 61. So 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 minus 6 I can't do, so I borrow. The 1 becomes a 0. The 5 becomes a 15. Let me move this up so we can see it a little bit better. Or zoom out a little bit for us. And 15 minus 6 is 9. So I have a prediction of 95 degrees. But let's double check if that works out with my bottom number, because again, not everybody see those top numbers. Some people like to go the other way. So hopefully this will work out. Let's see. So if I use my bottom numbers, I have 119 and 24 degrees. So I'm going to subtract that again, so I don't have to sit here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, each individual line. That's going to take a really long time. So 9 minus 4, again, I just looked at my protractor. My bottom number was 119. This bottom number was 24. 9 minus 4 is 5. Have to borrow again. 11 minus 2 is 9. And look there, I got the same answer. Okay? So when you're looking at those angle measurements, you can either use the top or the bottom numbers. So think about how we did this. Highlight the information that you need on your next question. Come and see us in tutoring tomorrow if you need help. Good luck. Be ready for your homework check tomorrow. Get this finished, all 6 questions, and bring this for your homework check to help you out.